to 100 Days of Code with Here. My name is Shruti, and we are in week 15 of 100 Days of Code with Here. So, if you want to go to the previous days of code, if you want to look at videos, blog posts of the previous days of codes, there are links in the description where you can get the previous solution videos, solution blog posts, as well as a link to the repository where you can directly download or clone the repository and start working from there. If you want to go deeper, if you really want to know what this 100 days of code is, there is also a blog which tells you everything about what exactly is 100 days of code. So once you've gone through that, let's begin with day 71. So with day 71, for this week, we're going to start customizing our route response. So if we looked at last week we sort of looked at truck routing and responses that you can get with truck routing, as well as customizations that you can add to define your truck profile. And if you see the response, there's a bunch of things that you get. We talked about representation, so we got the shape value of the route, which we use to draw out the route. Along with that, there are many other features that sort of come in a default routing response. So you have routing mode, routing legs, you have links, maneuvers, etc. So with this week, we are going to take a look at getting more customized responses depending on what kind of results you want. So day 71 was about getting a truck route from Berlin, Germany to Warsaw in Poland, and getting a truck route by the summary by country. So let's do that. Let's go to our documentation. Let's go to routing version 7, and let's hop to the API reference section, get route. Okay, so calculate route. So we've talked about getting a truck route, getting a simple route from place A to B. We already know you have waypoint 0, waypoint 1. So let's change that. Let's change waypoint 0 to Berlin, Germany. So I had these coordinates with me, but if you want, you can go to vgo.here.com and get your coordinates from there. So okay, this is waypoint 0, Berlin, waypoint 1, Warsaw. Then the mode should be fastest by truck, traffic enabled. We can get rid of all of this. Let's also get rid of alternatives. Let's get only one route for now. And then representation is still display because we still want to draw out the routes. And then let's look at what else can you get in a route response. So you can just do a search on this page to route. You'll get way too many responses, but have some patience, and then you'll get a parameter called route attributes. So just below representation, you have something called route attributes. And now if you expand this, you'll see that there are route attributes like waypoint, summary by country, shape, bounding box, legs, notes, blah, blah, blah. So you can take a look at all of them one by one whenever you have some time. Meanwhile, for day 71, we want summary by country. So I'm going to select that and add the parameter route attributes. And then add summary by country. Now, if you just click on save, you should get one route, right? Which has been drawn. That's fine. And then now if you check the route response, you have the basic route, the first route, you have leg, you have mode, the shape, and then you have an object called summary by country. And within this object, what you can see is the time and the distance covered in one country. So this is time and distance covered in Germany, and then this is the time and distance covered in Poland in that route. And you can also get more of these objects which give you other things, that flags, which is, has it crossed a toll road, has it crossed a tunnel, has it crossed a motorway, has it crossed a built up area. And then you can also get the text, which you can sort of display in any format that you wish, or you can even use a text to speech converter to sort of say it out when, if you're using voice as the way to give the road details. So that was it for day 71. Make sure you explore the other route attributes as well. For day 72, we wanted to get the routing zones along the same route. So when I talk about routing zones, it means there are certain sort of eco zones that are demarcated, and only certain vehicles can cross these zones. And so depending on that, it's nice to know what kind of zones are you entering in terms of the way the roads are made. So to get the routing zones from your response, what you're going to do is again go to the route attributes, and now we looked at summary by country, and we are going to add zones. So this is just to show that you can also add multiple values to this parameters to get multiple responses in the same route. So now if you save this, you'll see you have the route, you have the summary by country, and then you have the zones. And so this says this was the Berlin Umwelt zone, which is a type of environmental zone which has restrictions depending on if your vehicle is a car, truck, or depending on what kind of load it is carrying, or what kind of restrictions that certain vehicles have. So in this way, you can get zones from the route that you are going to follow. And that was it for day 72. Day 71 and 72, we took a look at route attributes and sort of added more parameters or more objects to this routing object. With day 73, we are going to take a look at leg attributes. And now, leg attributes, as the name says, are attributes of every leg of the route. And within the routing response, the route is sort of divided into different legs. And if you want to have action points for every leg of this route, you can add more leg attributes. With day 73, we are going to look at maneuvers. So this is when you want to get maneuvers for every leg of the route. So let's do that quickly. Let's add leg attributes. And we want maneuvers. Click on save, and what you get is the response route object. Within the route object, you have legs, and then within the legs, you have maneuvers for every leg of the route. So if you check this, you have position, you have the shape of that particular leg, and then you also have instructions on where to go, when to take a turn, and so on and so forth. So that was it for day 73. With day 74, now we are going to take a look at maneuver attributes. So we've taken a look at route attributes, then we went to leg attributes. Let's go to maneuver attributes. So once we've had these maneuvers, it has some objects, right? So it has the instructions, it has ID, length, some notes. Right now the notes are blank because we've not added the notes in there. And then you have the position and shape. So let's take a look at what are the different parameters that maneuver attributes have to offer. So there's a bunch of them, right? When you look at this, there's a bunch of them. There's road names, next road name, road number, signposts, actions, directions, blah, blah, blah. Let's add directions. So again, this depends on what you want to do with them. So you can choose whichever one you want. This is just the one we chose for the day 74 task so that we could display what else is possible. So let's add maneuver attributes, and in that we need to add direction. Once you add that, let's check our route response. So once you check the route response, you have your leg, you have the maneuvers, and within maneuvers you should get an object called direction. So if you did not want instructions but you just wanted a word of reply which way the leg sort of goes ahead, that would be the direction. So here you have directions within your legs as well. So that was day 74. Finally, with day 75, we are going to customize our route response a little bit further, in that we are going to clean it up a little bit. So if you can see right now, it has way too many endpoints. It has way too many objects, most of which I don't even need at this point. I probably just need the shape to draw this out and a couple of other things, right? So the waypoints maybe to have these two start and end points to put a marker on them. But other than that, I don't really need the other objects in my route response. So the way to clean them up is we don't really even need to go here, but maybe there's a clue somewhere. So if you see this, you'll see that to add these parameters, you can just sort of add them into as values for our parameters. To get rid of them, you can just type none. Once you save this, you will see that you should get an empty array when you look at the leg object. So you got a empty leg object. So we'll do the same for maneuvers, but we don't really need to do that because legs were under maneuvers. So we've gotten rid of that as well. If you wanted to keep this and only get rid of maneuvers, you could get rid of maneuver attributes. So let's make this none as well, but that doesn't really matter. Now, by writing none, you get rid of all the attributes within that object. But what if you wanted to keep some and have like customize some of them, right? You wanted to have some of them. So right now, I want to have shape. I want to have, let's say I don't want to have zone, so I'm just going to remove it. And then I don't want any summary. So what you can do is you can either delete them, or specifically if it is a default one, you can also write minus. So when you add this, what you get is the whole route object without that specific attribute. So you can either get rid of all attributes together as well as specific attributes out of your route response. In this way, you'll be able to keep the route response smaller so that you don't have to handle a lot of data, as well as get the important ones that you actually need for your application. And so with this, this was an end to week 15 of 100 Days of Code. I hope this was super helpful in sort of understanding the route response, understanding what all these parameters and their attributes are. I know they look like a lot on the documentation page, but just going through them one by one will help you get to know them a little bit more. And in case you are here for the first time, go check out our other 100 Days of Code solution videos, 100 Days of Code blog posts, as well as the GitHub repository where we have the rest of the codes already there. So keep following us on @yourdev, and happy coding.